Okay, guys, welcome back to another video. Yeah, the wild title, I can't even lie. Will Smith is everything wrong with Hollywood. Damn, I would have thought you'd call Jeffrey Epstein, you know? I would have thought you'd call Puff Daddy, you know? Will Smith? He's the problem? Okay, all right. Let's see what you talking about, Moon. Let's get it.
Will Smith is everything wrong with Hollywood. You see, he had everything. He was one of the most loved people in Hollywood. He had all the fame, success, and money you could ever dream of. He had one of the most diehard fan bases. He was the leading man in all the biggest movies, and seemingly had the perfect family. But as we all know by now, a lot of this was just a facade, and the cracks in his perfect image started forming. Whether it be him getting lectured by his wife Jada for her cheating on him with his son's.
This is wild. Like, this is the wildest part of everything I've ever seen from Will Smith. You got cheated on by your wife with son's best friend, and she puts you on an interview to talk about your feelings, dog. Why? You sat here crying in front of the world with the woman who cheated on you, explaining how you felt. This is the most I don't want to. Oh my God. Like when I saw this, I'm like, what are you doing, dog? You're Will Smith. You're Will Smith. You could leave this woman and go. You could literally walk outside and have 10 women ready to marry you, like at all times. Come on, bro. What were you doing on this interview? Like, what were you doing?
Friend, all while he agrees to let it be posted on the internet for the world to see, or just being relentlessly emasculated, weak, spineless, and eventually even slapping Chris Rock in the most embarrassing event of the decade. It became very clear why today, Will Smith is one of the most hated celebrities around.
Hold on.
It became very clear.
You see this woman right here? This woman right here. I don't know her name. I've seen her before, but I can't remember her name right now. Every time this video, because this is the viral clip, I don't even pay attention to Will. I pay attention to her. She's just here for the drama. She's here for the tea. She's like, ooh, ooh, what's going on? she's just having a time, bro. She's like, like, oh. It's always so funny when I see her. Honestly, she was cruising in this clip.
Why today, Will Smith is one of the most hated celebrities around. His arrogance, spinelessness, narcissism, and fakeness makes him impossible to take seriously anymore. But after a good few years of rejection, he faded into the background. Chris Rock mocked him in his special, everyone laughed at him, and he just became irrelevant. But having been the Hollywood darling that he was, he needed to change his image if he were to ever stay relevant, famous, or even get whatever acting role was left for him. He had to do something, because his public image was probably at the worst it could ever be. And in recent months, we've all been able to watch it. And the way he's been going about this is a warning to any out-of-touch celebrity on exactly what not to do, being one of the worst PR runs imaginable. And to see what I mean, let's take a look at the end of March, when he released his first album in over 20 years. It seemed out of nowhere that suddenly Will Smith just started popping up all over the place, but ostensibly it might have just been to.
When I saw him on KSI's video, I'm like, okay, Will, all right, we get it, but you were you were overdoing it, fam. You were overdoing it. What are you looking for on KSI's video? Come on, bro. KSI, like nothing against the dude, but there's no chemistry there. Like, how? Come on, bro.
Promote this album, as it seemed like his first shot at reconciliation with his audience. Or maybe he just hoped his rawness would change people's hearts. After all, he claimed it was about the parts of himself that had been banished, and that he wasn't allowed to talk about on the radio, as if the real him was gonna come out. And
Part of you you're not allowed to talk about on radio is how you like pretty girls? Bro, come on! I didn't listen to the whole album, admittedly. Maybe he did speak on some truths, I didn't listen to it. So My bad. I don't want to, just jump to conclusion there, but I heard Pretty Girls and there was nothing reflective about that song. That one, I promise.
And the spineless cucked version of him was gonna just magically disappear. But what he got instead was even more ridicule. People just called the album cringy, corny, and calculating, and quote, a pointless apology tour for the dumbest Oscar gaffe in history. He then released his next shot at becoming famous through music, with his new song called Pretty Girls. And the response was absolutely hilarious. You see, the music video for this song had insane production quality, but it didn't take long for the video to get a 60% dislike ratio, from people calling it a midlife crisis to a humiliation ritual, as some people called it, quote, the gayest straight song they'd ever heard. One commenter even begged the actor to take what dignity he had left and fade into a distant memory, making him even more of a joke. So he
I mean, that's just plain. Come on, bro. That comment was unnecessary. He's trying to revive his career. You can't blame him for trying to come back. Albeit the means he's trying to come back is cringe and weird, and you would think he pays his team millions of dollars to give him good advice. I don't know why he thought this was a great idea to come back like this. But you can't blame the man for effort, A for effort, you know. F for execution, but A for effort. That's what I'd say.
had to change his strategy. How could he become relevant to Generation Z if not through music? Well, he had to tap into the TikTok audience. With his calculating strategy with his team, he would pour all of his money into getting whatever relevant
There was nothing calculative about there was nothing calculative about his return. Sorry, like his team need to be fired. That's just my personal opinion. I can't lie. Cause come on, bruh.
he could through social media. That's why suddenly people started noticing on their algorithms Will Smith was everywhere, with random TikTokers like Brooke Monk. It was just so strange. Talking with people he had no association with and no connection with most of
Exactly my point with KSI. Like it was awkward for me to watch it. Like it was I wasn't even there, but I could feel the bruh. Something in here does not work. It does not click. Maybe you could have had better chemistry with Kai. I don't know. Kai just seems to, with Kevin Hart, it was, So I was just thinking, yeah, probably, but nah, it didn't work with KSI. I'm sorry. Like that one I can speak on because I actually watched that one. I don't know.
the people being at least 30 years younger than him. It just looks so weird and strange. It was as though each appearance was a calculated attempt by an entire team of people in Hollywood to show Will Smith in a more positive light. Because what better way to get in people's good books than paying off a bunch of influencers and riding off of their clouds? But unfortunately his strategy didn't work. Take for example his interview with the School of Hard Knocks, a YouTube and TikTok page about financial literacy. Suddenly out of nowhere there appears Will Smith, and he seemed like he was trying to be open and honest with his responses. He spoke about how money didn't bring happiness, how fame was isolating, and some of the emotional struggles he had faced.
And it's a terrifying place when you realize nothing material can actually satisfy you. And it's a similar abyss at rock bottom. And the realization is that what you're actually looking for is you. What you're actually looking for is a comfort that will only come with you totally by yourself with none of this shit.
And to be fair, this is something that happens with a lot of celebrities. If they have a movie to promote or a song to promote, they'll go on random podcasts to try and get a little bit of relevance to
Yeah, the PR is normal. Like just getting back into the public eye because you're trying to promote something. I think everybody knows what you're trying to do at that point. That's normal. It's trying to garner attention, and that's how the media works. And yeah, that's fine. But I was going to speak on him saying the top of the mountain is similar to rock bottom. I think he's right. I've never been to the top. I am going there, but I just feel like, when you have everything that you thought would make you happy and it doesn't make you happy. Yeah, I've had a similar feeling on relatively, high level for me when one of my videos popped off rather. And yeah, I thought, oh my God, when I get that viral video, I'm finally gonna be, oh yeah, I'm finally gonna be satisfied doing what I want, doing what I loved. But I realized that when that video came, it was just um what's the word? It was just a spike of excitement and then it was gone. That was it. There was nothing else after that. It just became my new normal. And then added on top of that, all that came was pressure because now a lot of eyes were watching. Now I couldn't make mistakes. Now I couldn't be free because I just thought there were so many people watching me. What if I offend one of them? What if I piss off the wrong set of people? What if just being me makes someone, uncomfortable or whatever? Then all these thoughts came into my head and it was just some extra shit, you know? And that's all that it came with, just a little bit of excitement at that. Oh my God, that video popped off. And then that's it, And then, yeah, yeah. I'd argue there's a lot more to deal with at the top than at the bottom, but yeah.
To promote their movie or upcoming project, but something about this interview didn't seem normal. It was as though everything was rehearsed and way too polished, like he was trying to be someone he isn't, as though the entire world would just forget about all the stuff that had happened a few years ago with him and Jada and the Oscars. It was all too fake and the comments called him out on it, but despite not getting the reaction he'd been hoping for, Smith then kept on pushing. He was gonna
I'm sorry I keep pausing the video. But I'm a small channel and chances are you've already seen this video, right? So you're here for the reaction. The simplest and easiest thing he could have done was come out as himself, authentically. Like, guys, look, I messed up, you know. I shouldn't have done what I did. I shouldn't have gone about it the way that I did, but I'm human and I ask for your apology. And please let this be in the past. That's not to say everybody's just going to forget it and go kumbaya, but I think you would have had infinitely better reception from the audience than whatever it is that you're trying to do here, man. If you had just come out and say, look, I'm not trying to deceive any of y'all. I did what I did. I said what I said, and I'm sorry. I apologize. I was not blah 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 blah. Tell them whatever was going on in your head. I don't know. Just be real, man. Just be real. Just tell them the truth. Tell them what it really is, and then hope for the best. But you're just digging yourself further into a pit by doing this.
force himself onto everyone's algorithms until he could finally become relevant again, as the entire industry of Hollywood relies on this, because if he's not relevant anymore, his entire life and soul will be stripped away from him. But it's almost jarring to see somebody manufacture themselves into relevance this much and so visibly and obviously. Like on the 11th of June 2025, when people in London walking past King's Cross Station were greeted by an interesting sight. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Will Smith was performing some of his greatest hits from the 90s. It was just out of nowhere, completely unexpected, and a big crowd started going around the actor. This time, he would appeal to people's sense of nostalgia. The old Will Smith, the one before Hollywood corrupted him. The world wants that so bad he even told the host of the Broken Record podcast.
The world is so desperate for nostalgia right now.
Yeah.
The world wants that so bad, and it's like people just yearning for, a time when things were a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And he might be right in that sense, but when you
I find it very intriguing and very amusing when people say the world wants something. Like, how many people have you met? I understand the intent, I understand the message behind that statement. It's just when you objectively look at it, you start to think the world. Yeah, maybe a large group of people, but the world. I mean, people need way more, essential things than what you think they need. People want nostalgia, but need the world. Yeah.
actually look at the crowd while he performs this music, it's completely dead and the vibe just looks extremely boring, as people called out in the comments. It was just too obvious what he was trying to do, and it still seemed like none of this would help Will Smith's image. Any of his attempts at quote-unquote authenticity just felt shallow, and the nostalgia aspect just made people sad how much Will Smith had actually fallen off. So he would try one more trick, this time by forcing himself on to KSI, a sudden out of nowhere friendship that definitely wasn't strategically planned and probably paid off for. You see, recently you might have noticed them together. They've now been doing a few TikToks together, and Will Smith even supported KSI at a Legends v Creators football match. But people didn't really think too much of it so far. There wasn't anything that out of order, until KSI uploaded his most recent Try Not to Laugh challenge, which included Will Smith. KSI's audience did seem to like the dynamic, and watching Will Smith navigate a new sphere of the internet, but the elephant in the room was just so obvious that this was nothing more than a publicity stunt trying to force himself onto everyone to like him again, which is one of the worst ways to be liked in the first place, all being a PR stunt designed to try and recapture the relatability he used to have, but now a middle-aged man with a broken family and a stained reputation, which the comments would let him know about. Almost everyone in the comments would refer to the slap, whilst others just called this out as a desperate PR move. People roasted Will Smith for trying way too hard to stay relevant in one of the most cringy ways imaginable. And again, these collaborations with these influencers, especially with KSI, just seem so out of touch. Like he just went online, typed in famous influencers, and decided to go with the biggest one, even if they have nothing in common and nothing to actually share of value.
You see, this is the problem with fame. This is the problem with fame. Like, we are all human beings, but the minute you become famous, people treat you like you're supposed to be this perfect dude, and every single flaw, every single mistake you make is blown out of proportion, and you get punished for it. It's like you're no longer human, you know. And I understand that's what we sign up for, coming into the public eye, but it's just very funny that humanity on its own is, we have that tendency to treat people that stand out as somehow different from us, because we all have the same flaws. People have anger issues and they kill people. You know, people have, you know, there are serial killers on the run. But the minute you're famous, something as simple as a slap can derail your career. And that's not to say the slap was unimportant. You don't get up and slap somebody at all, whoever you are. But let's not pretend like this isn't something normal. If Will Smith wasn't Will Smith, and Chris Rock wasn't Chris Rock, and the Oscars wasn't the Oscars, it's just another slap. It's just another day in the world. It's another Tuesday, you know? But then you're famous, and now, you know, the slightest things that you do, and suddenly you're blackballed from the industry. And that's just a very sad reality, because ideally we could just forgive him for the slap, and not the masses. We could just say, look, if Chris Rock is okay, if Chris says, okay, he's good, they make up, Chris says he's sorry, the majority of the world, who have no business taking up these battles for these two people, can just be like, all right, you know, that's fine. I guess we'll let you off the hook, since, you know, it's all good. But even if today Chris Rock says, Will, I forgive you, we're good with J, we're good with G, the world isn't still going to let Will breathe, as though they were the ones that got slapped, you know? And that's just weird. That's just weird.
And while you could say they have a common interest in music, KSI is not exactly known just for his music. But maybe he just did this because KSI's audience is also known for being unquestionably loyal to KSI, no matter what, and always supporting all of his endeavors. Maybe Will Smith saw this, hoping to cultivate a similar fan base, leech off KSI's one, and try and appeal to Generation Z. But the fact that this is so spectacularly failed really points to one of the major problems in Hollywood. No one cares about celebrities anymore. The celebrities of the past are done. People don't care about the Hollywood industry or the actors involved. You see, his failing redemption arc is a warning to all Hollywood stars. Every year, there's more of a disconnect between regular people and Hollywood elites. Just a decade or two before, celebrities from Hollywood were basically untouchable royalty. People would never hear from them unless there was some kind of scandal or they would speak in an award show or interview. Everything was perfectly laid out for them. The laughs were pre-recorded, the press coverage was manufactured, and their true selves was hidden behind their gated mansions. They lived their whole lives almost completely separated from the rest of the world. But after more and more videos of these people began being posted online, all the virtue signaling during COVID, the Imagine song, From all the creepy Diddy parties and all the out-of-touch woke political virtue signaling that went on for years, meant that their pure narcissism was finally exposed online and people began to despise them. We also saw this clearly with Rachel Zegler. She was doing great, getting huge roles at such a young age. She was literally destined to be one of the most beloved Hollywood stars, but unfortunately for her, her rise came at the very wrong point in time. You see, once she managed to be cast as Snow White, the dream job of almost any young actress, her real self was finally revealed to the world through interviews, and people for the first time actually came together and saw how hollow most of these actors really are. People just called her out on it this time, as dismissive, arrogant, and virtue signaling. And while she probably was just saying whatever she thinks Hollywood wants her to say,
she's not going to be safe with a prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's
See that right there? You see what she did? What's her name? I keep forgetting. Wonder Woman. Uh, you see what she did? She's like, you see that smile? Out of annoyance, like, you know? Yeah. I clocked that. I clocked that. Right, right.
She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
the tone of it all really alienated everyone from the movie, all at the worst possible time when people were already hating on most modern actors and most modern remakes of movies. As by this point, after years of this stuff never ending, people just don't care about what they have to say. We're just now at a point where we dismiss these celebrities, as you can literally smell their
So many fake smiles in the industry, bruh. Like so many, and I can see it, and it's painfully obvious to anybody who cares to actually look. Like smiles don't even mean anything to these people anymore. It's like default. It's like default programming. They just know how to smile, you know, and make it look convincing, even if they are boiling on the inside or sad or depressed. They've mastered the art of smiling. That's not to say we can't tell that they're faking it, but like, come on, man. What are we doing at this point? Like, why the fakeness?
false relatability a mile away. It's quite the contrast from just a few decades ago when celebrities used to be
What's going on?
Sorry, I thought you were recording.
I am.
I just wanted to take this.
You take it.
praised for their speeches, and they actually did seem to care about certain issues, and oftentimes this made people feel seen, and so these Hollywood actors gained more fans and ultimately more money and power. And so they would do whatever they could to tap into this more and more, saying whatever they thought people wanted to hear. Which is why we can now see these speeches for what they are. It's just performative word vomit to get people to stroke their egos, get them better roles, and more influence. And now they have no power. Look at any of the recent US elections. No one actually cares what celebrities have to say about these people, or even just the success of recent movies. Not that long ago, people would queue outside the cinemas just to see the next big movie. They'd follow any movie with the biggest stars' names attached, but oftentimes now, these movies just bomb at the box office. People are over all of this stuff. No one cares who's even acting, and the performative activism is just so nauseating. And people today in 2025 just have much bigger things to worry about. Nobody wants to be pandered to. Well, see, I'm just like,
Every time I see this clip, it blows my mind. Every single time. I know what's coming. It blows my mind. Why do we have Megan Thee Stallion twerking on a Hollywood movie with She-Hulk? Like, what are we even doing at this point? Like, what exactly is the problem? What's the problem? Why is Megan Thee Stallion twerking in a high-rise building with the She-Hulk? How did we get to this point? Is she in the comics? Goodness.
you moments. All people want is to be entertained, and if celebrities aren't going to provide it, they'll find it elsewhere. And this is why Will Smith just can't make a comeback. The whole situation of him slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars was so outrageous that it finally woke people up to the bizarre fakery and uncaring attitude of Hollywood elites. None of these people care about you. Even for Chris Rock. Nobody protected him, nobody stopped this at the Oscars, and then Will Smith went back and sat down, and then he got an Oscar afterwards and a standing ovation, without anyone actually
A standing ovation after he slapped somebody on stage is wild. That is the highest act of hypocrisy that I have ever seen. Watch this live and you didn't realize, like, wait, are these people even human? Are they even human at this point, or is just robotics? Because He just assaulted somebody on stage, and you're out here standing and cheering for him as he gets. This I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Coming out of their own bubble to realize how bizarre and sociopathic the industry truly is. I mean, is it any wonder that LA and Hollywood itself is literally crumbling today? It's clear that this is just a dying industry. And so with all of Will Smith's new press tour,
Hmm?
You should work on putting your video. You know Sniper Wolf.
Mm,
You know the way she used to do her.
I don't watch it.
You Korekeshi, you know the way he used to play that he'll put himself in one small corner.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
trying to fix his image, thinking all humans can just ignore the past and believe in anything they're told, is just a clear reflection of why nobody cares about actors, Hollywood, and all the BS they do anymore. And to be honest, it's quite satisfying to watch it all fail in real time.
Gamma Original.
I didn't know the video was gonna end that abruptly, but yeah, basically, like Hollywood is not what we think it is. It's it's a problem. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem of hypocrisy. It's a problem of fake smiles. It's a problem of virtue signaling. It's a problem of. It's just a problem, you know. Not all that glitters is gold, and this is more so the case for Hollywood than ever before. There's all these ideal lifestyles of fame and money and perfect people and perfect families that all it takes is just to really look, to really pay attention, and you just find dysfunction and heartbreak and pain and struggle. Just like it is below, so it is above, you know? So, you know, at the end of the day, we're all humans and we all have problems. But Hollywood, the problem with Hollywood is they're trying to make it seem like there isn't a problem. And so when these type of things slip out and ultimately leak out because nothing can be held forever, it's way worse on their image because you give us the impression that you were perfect and we find out that you're not. And so but yeah, that's where I'm going to end the video. Like, subscribe, share. If you want more of this, if you love this video, please let me know. Please tell me in the comment section. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. 10 out.